What's up, everybody?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, from outside of the
This
studio.
time, yeah, yeah, it's kind of nice to kind of be away from the studio because we always
I
set it
mean,
up. It's a
yeah, but you're
process.
always in the studio anyways. You
I
live there.
know, so it's nice to like record not in the studio.
I guess.
So what's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in to this kind of special segment. We've been wanting to kind of branch out and do like remote settings, remote recordings, kind of virtual calls. So this is actually our very first official one. So we wanted to kind of test it
This
out
is
and
honestly our first experiment, and we're not even sure if we're gonna post this or not. But if it comes out good, we will, and then you'll kind of see what it's like to start off with some sort of a remote recording. So
yeah, no, this is
wish us luck.
a completely new setting, but I think it'll be fine. We've gotten a couple of questions, I think, a week ago, and we are going to answer them in a more, you know, I guess, legitimate setting. However, we figured we saw
True.
like I think two really good ones that kind of stood out that we wanted to kind of piggyback off of and kind of give a little bit of special attention. So I chose one, Chris chose one. We figured we'll answer it. If you guys trust us enough with your questions, we figured we'll give you guys a nice little response. So,
Question number one. So, boys, girls trip. Boys girls trip. So I guess an all boys trip while you're in a committed relationship, or an all girls trip when you're in a committed
mm-hmm.
relationship.
Yeah.
But the friends are mostly single.
Okay.
What do you think?
Dude, I'm a big believer in having you time and taking care of yourself and having your own personality and your own life outside of your relationship. And I think for me, especially for me personally, I think traveling is really, really important. And I have gone on solo trips. I've gone on trips with you while being in a relationship. And they've always had been a really, really good time. And so I don't see that you need to necessarily only travel with your partner. Even if the people that you travel with happen to be single, I don't think that's necessarily a detriment to the trip. I think if you trust your partner, and if they've always been respectful towards you, and in the relationship, why not be okay with that?
So you think if your girl said, "Hey, I want to do a girls trip, and it's gonna be with these single girls," and you look at some of these girls and you know they're bad news, you're still gonna be like, "Yeah, baby, go for it."
So that's different. So now, if they're single, it's one thing to be single, and
That's the
whatever,
question,
right? And if
Marvin.
you're saying they're bad, they don't. It's not the same thing. They could be single, and now if they're like those bad girls and they fuck around, whatever, and they're grimy, and I know that might change things. However,
That's
just
the
because they're single, no, the question is they're single.
okay,
There's
okay,
nothing wrong with being single. She has a lot of single
let's
friends.
ask the full question then, because now
The
I
full
guess it
question is
depends.
if she's
Then it
single.
depends. No, it depends then, because then it depends on the friends.
I think to a certain degree, yeah, it does. It does depend on
Okay,
the
so
friends.
then it's not just a clear like, yeah, I think you need your own time. I see nothing wrong,
I don't see anything wrong. But now, if you have sketchy
but
friends, that's a whole nother issue to begin with. Doesn't mean
mm,
that that's not necessarily contingent on the trip. But I
mm,
mean, to be honest, if you're with somebody and then they have sketchy friends, that's a whole nother avenue that we can pursue. But like you asked me, like Claudia, she has really good people in her life. A lot of them are single. Yes, they're single, but they're not like fucking whores. So I wouldn't have any objections to it. But if you want to go that extra route, the one that you kind of open
yeah.
up, oof.
Yeah, because apparently, so it's not
So,
just an easy like, yeah, you should. Apparently, there are certain limits or limitations to that.
yeah, I think so too. Because I'm thinking about like some of the friends that I used to have and used to kind of run with, and some of them were bad news for a while. I was bad news too. And to be honest, that can kind of rub off on you. I know some people might disagree, but if you have some really bad people around you and they make some bad decisions, doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to do it, but it's tough. It makes things a lot harder. Um, who you surround with yourself with is important.
Yeah, yeah, because
So
I was talking about this a little bit earlier with my significant other, and I started thinking like I use like myself as an example because I'm like, oh, like for example, Carlos, right? Like if
yeah,
I like, I'm like, oh, what do you think? Like, would you feel comfortable if I go, travel with Carlos, whatever? And she was like, I don't know
For
because he's probably
real?
gonna be going after some girls. And I'm like, yeah, but I also don't think he'd do that to like you. You know, like I don't think he'd do that to us. I think he knows one how happy I am, and I think he also knows um, how great you are because she is like she gets along with all my friends. You know, like it's really cool to be able to have like that sort of respect for one another, especially a significant other. I mean, think of how most relationships that you probably hear of like in like movies or probably when we were younger, we're like, oh man, I have to deal with my girlfriend or oh shit, yeah, let's go, but like no boys or whatever. Like, you know, like they want their own space
Yeah.
because they don't want it's different. Like she's like a homie too. So I don't think like he would do that. And she goes, "Oh, really?" And I'm like, "Yeah, like genuinely, I really don't think he would." Now, I do see that he might say, "Yo, there's a fine girl over there, right?" But I also look at it as I really don't want to like deal with that. But I'm also like, man, if he really likes her, I can always be like, "Oh no, yeah, I'm taken." But my boy over here, this guy, he's the best, and really hype him up, almost like a wingman, but like a taken wingman. That
Sure,
way, it's
sure.
not like I'm trying to like be careful what I'm saying in order to get the other girl that's probably with her, right? Or like I just wouldn't care. So I could play like that stupid card because if I look completely stupid, I don't care if they think I look stupid because I'm not trying to get with them. But I could
No, I
just play
get
like
you.
that card to hype them up,
But
and
I
yeah,
think
he'll get
the
it.
yeah, but then things could be a little bit trickier when it's like not just one girl. Well, but what if it's like
That's what I mean.
she has
I
some other
still
single friends, and then now it's like
right. No,
how
but
does that dynamic
that's
would play into it? You know?
that was my answer to that example. Like that's what I was saying.
Yeah, but then
Like
she
even
has other
so,
single friends, and so what? Maybe they're trying to make a move on you, which is what probably would be Christina's objection. Like, oh yeah, but what if that's a pretty girl, and she has single friends that are also very good looking, and maybe they want to get at you, and maybe they don't
no,
care if you have a girl, you know?
no, yeah.
So how would that playing field change? And being you, yeah, you might be resilient to that,
But it's
those
more of
attractions,
just
but
being in this, like not putting myself in the situation in the first place, which is the point.
like
Like
not
you don't want
going.
to,
You're saying you're not gonna put
right?
yourself in a
Well,
position to begin with, but would you go on a trip with Carlos? You two? Would she be okay with that?
I don't know. I think she would. I think she would. I think probably maybe it also depends. Like, imagine if she's like, if he goes, hey, let's go to Vegas. But then again, like, I wouldn't want to go to Vegas.
Right. No, I get that. But
You see, like,
objectively speaking,
yeah, I would only like, for example, if you told me, yo, we're either gonna go to like Cancun or like Iceland, I'd be like, yo, let's fucking go to Iceland, dude. You know,
no, I
like
get
I
that.
don't
I
really
get
care
that.
for like that type of vibe. Um, so
But if you're
I
thinking,
just,
but if you're
yeah,
thinking objective, like this person asked a question, like, yeah, we have good relationships, we have good communication, and we have also good people around you. Carlos has gotten a lot better. He's a good guy,
I think he's great.
and
Yeah,
exactly. But
or
maybe
used
at
to
his
be.
prime, where he used to be, prime. I mean, what I mean, like at his peak
Sure.
craziness in a way.
Yeah.
Maybe that you asking her the question, maybe she wouldn't have been so conflicted.
Oh
Maybe she
no,
would have
yeah,
been like,
personally,
oh,
she
exactly. So
probably would have.
maybe
She would have said no.
exactly. So how would you respond to that? Would you be like, okay, like I understand where you're coming from, or would you be like, well, but I still want like a boys trip, or maybe would you just go with somebody else?
That's in. What do you mean, somebody else?
Like maybe you would go on a boys trip, but maybe just not with him. Maybe it's not the fact that you would go on a trip alone without her, but it's just the company that you have around. You have with you.
Damn, I don't know, man. That's a real tough one because like I'm not in that situation to really. Because like right now, I wouldn't want to jeopardize my relationship. I mean, if it was that important to her for me to not go, then if it's that much important, like I don't care that much to go to something if it's going to jeopardize my relationship. However, um, I would want some sort of understanding. Like I'm not just gonna no, I don't want because no, that's that's
But
that's stupid.
it's also then, and I think you have brought this up in the past too, because like, okay, maybe she's not okay with it. So let's look at the other aspect of the relationship. Like, what is going wrong for you to feel this way? And you
Also,
had brought this up again in the past, certainly, where it's like, okay, like this is the issue. How can we mend this? How can we prevent this from ever happening again? Let's say maybe I'm not going to go on this trip, but it shouldn't just end there. Why are you so worried about me going on this trip without you? And let's
right?
address it. Strengthen our relationship as well, because that's the goal.
True.
So
Yeah.
yeah, but ultimately, I think it's okay to the basis of it of the question is I think it's okay and healthy to have trips that without your partner. But if you're worried about like the thing is, like I can't even think about it because I'm not worried about Claudia, like my girls,
Right,
her
right. Like,
friends.
dude,
But if I,
I know how to answer
yeah,
this. Like, dude, I know exactly how to answer this. I feel
okay,
like
go.
if you feel like you need to ask whether it's okay for like your man to go on an all guys trip, even though his friends are single, because like you're worried. I think that you just need to figure out what's wrong with your relationship in other aspects. Because
Yep.
if you're not happy, if you don't trust them at the crib, like, dude, like, what else is going on? Like, if you feel like something may happen when he's out, like, why don't you feel secure enough? What's missing at home?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like there's
I
something
feel
going
you.
wrong. There has to be like something that else you have to pursue. So, all right, that's that.
Yeah,
Hopefully, that
I
helped
think
a
yeah,
little bit.
yeah. To your point, just to kind of conclude,
Yeah. Go
yeah,
ahead.
figure out, man. Make sure. I think it's fine as long. I will say, I think it also depends on the situation. Because, for example, like,
Or the destination.
yeah, like the
No.
destination, and I think
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
what the point is. Because for
Mm,
example, if if you were single, for example, and you're like, "Yo, let's go to Colombia," I don't know if that would be a good idea for me to go to Colombia. I hear
exactly.
a bunch of stories. I hear what goes down there. You ask any guy if he's been to Colombia, what does he say? Bro, it's the fucking best. All the fucking
Yeah.
girls and this and that. Like, dude, I don't think that's where a taken man should go with single friends.
I concur. I think there's places and times for everything. Like where we are in life in a relationship. If somebody was like, "Oh, let's go to Ibiza," I'm like, dude, like that's kind of like it's like a party scene. You know, things are going wild, drugs, a lot of alcohol. Is that really the best scene for me to be in if I'm in a relationship, and vice versa? And it's like,
Exactly.
is this going to help my relationship or not? Now, if you say you want to go camping in the backwoods somewhere, like sign me up, I'm down. And so I think that also kind of plays a little bit into it as well. Actually, a lot into it as well.
I think it also matters because we are a little bit older. So I think that we
Yeah,
did, and we're in Miami, so we're also a little bit jaded of the luxuries and the nightlife industry here. Like
yeah,
we kind of had a little bit of taste of that. And since we're really exposed, especially you, that you work in an environment that's around that, like it's almost like, dude, I just want to get the fuck out of here. I don't want to be here anymore. So now that we're
yeah,
older, I think we appreciate more like of experiences and doing different shit rather than just
for
going out every
sure.
weekend like before.
Yeah,
So when you hear camping, you're like, when was the last time I went fucking camping? I don't know.
yeah,
I don't
that
want to do
sounds
that.
exciting. Let me try that.
Exactly. So, but
For
anyways,
sure, for sure, for sure. Next question. Men in relationships liking other females' pictures on social media. Hmm. I think that's a problem from for a lot of people. We've heard a lot of people commenting on stuff like that, and whether or not it's appropriate or not. Just to answer first, I think it isn't, especially if that's like a girl that you don't even know, or if it's like a very scandalous picture, or it's like some IG model. It's like, why are you liking this girl's pictures? I don't think there's a need for that, especially if you're in a committed relationship. Now, if it's a friend of yours that you know, maybe they're a model, or maybe they're, like it's kind of almost like a supportive thing. And if you think you've brought it up before, and that maybe that'd be a little bit different, right? Yeah, like I'll throw you a like as a support. But if it's some random IG model that you don't know even know, I don't think you have any
yeah,
business liking anybody's pictures. It's
yeah,
not at all. I don't even think it's questionable.
yeah. I asked my senorita before also this question. I'm like, would you care? Would you care if I like someone else, like a girl's pictures? And she's like, honestly, I don't even know. I'm not even on social media that much, so I don't even know what you're doing.
Yeah.
But she was talking about, when for like liking the pictures. I don't. Yeah, she said the same thing. Like, no, I don't think it's right. And even me, like, I don't think it's really respectful. And I look at the way I see it now is I see a girl post like these like raunchy pictures. This is what I was telling her, and I'm kind of like disappointed for her. You know what I mean?
You're like,
Because like
why?
that's someone's daughter. Number one, and
Yeah.
number two, I see it as, do you really have to go to these lengths to like get people's attention? Like that's what I see. I feel like, man, you really want attention that bad that you want people to like this picture. How do you know it's gonna get the most likes? Let me show my asshole. That's where I feel like it's a little fucked up.
I was scrolling through social media the other day, like through Instagram, and it's literally the same thought came to mind because like there was a girl like literally showing her ass, putting it into the camera, and I'm like, my first thought was like, why? Why is this necessary? And then the second question was like, why am I following this person?
Dude,
And
I
then
mean,
I think I gotta clean my social media because I have a lot of people that I don't even
yeah.
interact with. It doesn't really matter. But no, bottom line is, if you're in a committed relationship, I don't think you should be liking anybody's half naked pictures, especially if they're strangers.
Let me ask you a question, dude.
Sure.
Do you have any guy chats that have like shit that no one should see?
Yeah, yeah. I do actually.
I think every guy has like that one chat, and within that chat, there's that one fucker who's sending all this shit, or is it a
Yeah.
mix of everybody?
I think there's a multitude of things going on because I have like multiple chats. No, I have like two chats. It's not really that many. And it'll be like one person dropping this, and then later on it's another person dropping that. So I think that is kind of common amongst men.
Yeah, and I
That's
remember back when I was younger, like I think in my old job, like I guess it was just I was working with older dudes, and like they'd show me like these group chats with just like a bunch of like nasty, not want to say nasty, it was just like a bunch of girls either like half naked, you see buttholes, someone getting fucked, and it's just like,
yeah,
what's
not to
going
that
on in this
extreme.
fucking
Yeah,
chat?
yeah,
Yeah, dude, like I didn't
not to
even
that
know
extreme.
that people went to that far. But like now, for
That's too
example,
much.
like I'm in a couple chats and it's just mostly guys, and you'll just see like, oh, girls, 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 girls. So every now and then it's like, damn. But then it's also like, eh, whatever. Because when you
Yeah,
see it, you're like, dude, like this is all that social media is at this point. Like,
it's so saturated, and it's kind of like that's all there is to it, you know. So I take it with a grain of salt. Oh damn, I was gonna ask you something. I must have forgotten. Fuck it, whatever. It'll come to me.
damn, I hope it wasn't good.
No, I don't think so. Otherwise, I wouldn't have forgotten it.
And let's
What
just do one
else?
more so we can end this trial. Because I think that I hope this thing is working.
What do you mean? Yeah, it's
Let's do like one
recording.
more question. Yeah.
We'll do one
No,
more.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
let's.
yeah. Yeah, no. We only have one written down, anyways. Okay, this one: vasectomy or birth control. This was submitted by our lovely friend.
One
Shout
of
out
our
to her,
lovely friends.
which I
Shout
haven't
out to
seen in like
you.
a year. I don't even know if she's still alive.
She
Actually, she
said
is because according
she
to
wrote
this,
this.
she wrote.
Anyways,
Vasectomy or birth control. I guess
it's
vasectomy
condom,
is a form of birth control. So
but
she
it
probably
is
means birth control in terms of like maybe the pill or something like that, or
obviously yes,
something that's
dude.
almost
Yes,
irreversible. It's
dude. Oh my, I can't
okay.
believe we started this fucking answer with this. Okay.
I don't think I'm not ready to get a vasectomy. I think because it's virtually irreversible. So now you
Is
take the
it?
pill.
I thought
Yeah,
it was reversible.
I think to a certain there's a chance that it cannot be reversed. So it's kind of like, do I want to take that risk? You know.
Yeah, but what
So
about all the like all the issues that birth control and how it like messes with the woman's
sure, the side
hormones?
effects, but then you can get off of it, and then for sure, 100%, the side effects will subside. But with a vasectomy, it's not that cut and dry.
But I think it also depends on the situation. Like, is like condoms not an option here?
Dude, are you gonna use a condom every time you have sex if you're in a long-term relationship?
I mean, the other option to not get pregnant, because because these two solutions is to not get pregnant, correct?
Yeah.
So let's look at our options. Sure, we have vasectomy, of course. Okay, we have birth control pills. Sure, okay.
Mm-hmm.
We have abstinence, could just not have sex, right? That's what
Sure.
our boy said.
Yeah, sure.
And and condoms. I mean, they're not 100%, but I mean, if the goal is to just make sure that you're not getting pregnant, the goal is to not get pregnant,
Hmm.
to be sure of not getting pregnant, then wear the condom. I'm not gonna fucking get a vasectomy. Like I mean, unless I'm like done having children,
That's
then
what
I'll
I'm
do that.
saying. Like, if you're at that age, we're like, oh, maybe you had
Yeah,
one or
because you
two
said
kids.
you like
I wouldn't get one. Would you get one right
ever,
now?
ever.
No,
Yeah, but
no.
then
Of course. I'm sure at some point I would. If I had kids, like or whatever.
oh, yeah, because you said like no, I wouldn't. But
Not
you're
right
obviously
now.
talking about right. Yeah, well,
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
not talking. I mean, I don't. I would hope now is not the time to make this decision.
Well, that's what the person's asking. This will be now.
No, I don't know. I thought I was taking it more of like an overall solution. But like no
For
vasectomy, no. I
I
think just wear a
mean,
fucking condom.
yeah, but it's like, are you gonna wear a condom every time you have sex? It's kind of tedious, no?
I mean, okay, so then get the vasectomy then.
Fuck. We should get somebody on who's had a vasectomy, because like it's more common now. Actually, it's growing a little bit. It's somewhat of a trend, and they say it's super painless, and the procedure in itself is apparently not as like crazy as they make it
Dude,
seem.
one of
But
my old boss when I used to work on my old job, he said that that he when he went to go do his operation, that he was just standing there. The doctor came in, put on some gloves, and he said, "All right, take your pants off." He said he grabbed his balls. He went down. He said that he looked down and he was looking at the doctor's Rolex as he was holding his balls. Snip,
That's
snip,
it.
and he was out like in 5 minutes, I think, or 10 minutes.
That's it.
Yeah, like he literally like he just went like this, doom doom, and then he just had to like do something really quick, whatever the fuck they do, and that's it. It was like super quick and painless. Well, actually, no, he said it did hurt a little bit, but it wasn't nothing that couldn't survive. What are you looking at?
Our
Are
vasectomies
vasectomies?
reversible.
Of course, they're reversible. Are vasectomies
It says they are, but
painful?
it says
Does
almost
getting a
all
vasect?
vasectomies can be reversed.
Yeah.
But
Does
all how
does
okay, go ahead.
no? No, you go. Oh, I didn't know. I thought you finished.
It
Go.
says,
Go ahead.
however, this doesn't guarantee success in conceiving a child. Okay, I guess you can reverse it, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you can now get pregnant again. That's the thing, dude. I mean, it is somewhat of it's always there's always a risk, especially with like a procedure, even if it is minor as a vasectomy. So I guess you have to really know. Like okay, like is there a potential chance that I do want to have kids, and how likely is it that I can have kids if I go with this route, right? And then if they don't want us, I want to change my mind. So I think it's a conversation between you and your doctor. But I think, yeah, you were saying, I mean, maybe like temporary birth control might be a more viable option. Although a lot of women have really nasty side effects with the pill. Um, so it's not to be taken lightly either. Because it shit fucks them up, their hormonal level, all that stuff like that. Even something that's like the IUD, that's also a process. A lot of shit to it. But again, it's like it always is targeted towards the woman versus like okay, there's only one thing a man can do, and it's the vasectomy. You
Dude,
know,
I look. I see the condom almost like what eating healthy is to fitness. Can you bust your ass at the gym hard as fuck? Yeah, you can. Could you take steroids and get a shortcut to get fucking big and yoked? Yeah, of course you can. But if you eat healthy, it's not always the funnest. Sometimes you gotta eat the same shit, the same boring shit, time and time again. That's the condom. Because yeah, would you like to be eating a bunch of pizzas and getting shredded? Of course. Who wouldn't? But you're not gonna get there. You gotta do the right thing in the kitchen also. So I feel
mm-hmm.
like it's the same thing because yeah, you can have sex and it's woo amazing, but then you run the risk of getting a baby. In this case,
Sure.
if you wear the condom, you weigh. I know it's not the best, but you're slowly getting and getting some, and then once you're ready to have children, that's almost like the end goal. Because then it's like, yeah, now I can fucking bust freely in here, and that's almost like, yeah, fucking shred it now. So I think that's kind of some sort of decent analogy there.
That's a great analogy. I like it.
Condoms are like dieting,
I
I
like it.
guess.
Put that on a shirt.
Yeah,
All
sure.
right. I think we can wrap it up.
Yeah,
Um,
honestly, yeah, this was a big old test with this thing, and I think it goes pretty good. So if anyone cares to even watch this shit, know
I
that.
think I think people will.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. But more importantly, if you guys know of anybody, now that we're doing this remote stuff, hey, preachers, now that we're doing this remote stuff, if there's anyone maybe who you would like for us to have on remotely, maybe we can call them up. They don't have to be local to the Miami area anymore. This is a good opportunity to DM us, write to us, let us know, share their profiles with us, or let them know that we're taking remote podcasts.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, we got a couple people lined up from different cities, different states, and even different countries. But if you know somebody, just let us know, and we appreciate the support as always.
So yeah, for those watching, thank you so much. We love you. For those
Ciao,
who
guys.
aren't, you're not gonna hear this, but
Thank
just
you
kidding.
so
We
much
love
for
all
tuning
y'all.
in,
Peace
guys.
out.